talk to Shadow Social Services, Linda Burney. Linda, thanks for joining us today. So,
Good morning, Leon. How are you?
Good. Explain how this works.
So today, the people that are on JobSeeker, that is the old new start, who are getting a $550 coronavirus supplement, their bank account will have $300 less in it. So the supplement is being reduced from $550 to $250. But the way you've described it is very good. What you're talking about with people who may have to wait up to 13 weeks for the capacity to access Social Security, it's called the liquid assets waiting test. Now, all that means is really it's the money you've got in the bank. I mean, there's some other bits and pieces to it, but essentially it's the money that you've got in the bank. It could be money owing to you from your kids. It could be stocks, but mostly it's money you've got in the bank. Now, think about what's happened in the last few months. Unemployment has skyrocketed. We know that there's going to be an additional 400,000 people on the unemployment queues before Christmas.
Yeah.
Many people access their superannuation early. Some people have got a small redundancy pay. So what the government is doing is saying that you have to use all your assets, all the money that you've got put away. If you're a single over 11,000, it's a varying rate for couples.
Yeah.
Now that means that people will have no buffer whatsoever. If the car blows up, or one of the kids gets sick, or you have to move house and sign a new bond and that kind of thing, people just won't have the capacity to do it.
All right, so let me just explain. So, Linda, in effect, this liquid assets test that did exist before the COVID issue, this test,
and then it was lifted.
Yeah, it applies to anybody who's got more than $5,000 in the bank.
If they're a couple, and 11,000 if you're a single.
Okay, but it includes redundancy pay that is yet to be received.
Yes. Yeah. It's whatever money in the main, as I say, Leon, that you've got put away in really a very worrying and difficult time.
Yeah. And then there's a separate assets test for cars and investment properties being reintroduced.
Yeah, well, that's true, but there's also the government does have legislation in the Parliament to make the waiting time from 13 weeks to 26 weeks. That's 6 months, and I just think that's completely unreasonable. And the fact that the government's bringing the liquid assets test back in now at the same time that they're reducing Social Security payments that have really kept people viable is reprehensible. And we know absolutely that the government has done no treasury modelling on how many people will become unemployed as a result of people not having enough money to spend in the economy.
Well, there's another issue here. Is this being done by regulation, or must the Senate approve it?
No, it's being done because the minister has way back when we were trying to make sure that governments were going to be nimble enough to make changes.
Yes.
So the actual minister has the power to be able to do this, yeah.
All right, so I guess what you're trying to do is say to the Treasurer, Josh Frydenberg, or the Finance Minister, Matthias Cormann, rethink this.
And to the Social Services Minister, Anne Ruston.
Yes.
Because it really is going to have a terrible economic outcome for Australia. And the other thing is that in your state and in your city, Leon,
yes,
we know that there are something like 24 unemployed people for every single job. And then when you get into regional South Australia, it's upwards of 40-odd people.
Yeah, well, that was my next point, because it's all very well to say, we'll go out and get work. But on one hand, we've got a situation where a lot of people can't find work, but then, Linda, and you've had this feedback too, no doubt, we've got employers who are offering good jobs who can't get staff.
Yes, but that you can't. What really is frustrating about this debate is that there are some people that are just doing a simple and inappropriate equation, is that because JobSeeker has been paid at a certain amount, but people are not pursuing work. Well, for people that are pickers or working in the meat industry, in casual and also time-limited jobs, it's mostly people that have come from the Pacific Islands, and of course there's border closures in those countries and our country. And the other thing is that many of those people were on student visas or on different sorts of visas. Yeah. And of course those people don't have the capacity or are not here anymore.
So this starts as of today, that people will start noticing a difference. So what's your advice in the meantime? Because, I mean, you want to have some money just in case, especially now. So are we saying here that it's just going to be harder because of these tests to get these benefits?
It's going to be incredibly hard for people on JobSeeker. And the other thing, of course, Leon, is that come this Monday, that's 3 days away, the amount of JobSeeker goes down $300 as well. So it's not just people on JobSeeker, it's people that are relying to keep connected to their employer on JobKeeper that are going to experience this. And we know that people on low incomes spend money in the economy. So it's not just the human cost, the economic cost as well.
Linda, thanks for coming on today. We'll keep a real eye on this. I think we probably ought to talk to Anne Ruston, who's the opposite of Shadow Social Services Minister.